Nintendo games are very cheerful and colorful. Oftentimes, a lot of them can carry a darker side. When it comes to the biggest collaboration between Nintendo games, Super Smash Bros., there really isn't much of a dark side to begin with the exception of a few stages, cinematics, and horror representation. So, to counteract this, a TikTok user named Nactluft would decide to upload an alternate reality version of Super Smash Bros. Called World in Dark. If it wasn't obvious from the title, this is a parallel to World of Light, the story mode for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. In this alternate universe, the Smash Bros. Characters still fight each other, but as grotesque, infected versions of each other. Infection alternate universes are nothing new, and really started with the My Little Pony Infection AUs, where the ponies from that show turn into horrifying mutilated zombies trying to spread the infection or kill the other characters in the show. On June 23rd of 2024, Luft would upload the first chapter of this AU. Please keep in mind, English is the author's second language as they are from El Salvador, so there are a few grammatical errors throughout, but that shouldn't let you ruin your experience. As confirmed by the author in a comment, this story takes place instead of World of Light, so no Galeem, Darkon, or the spirits. We get a title sequence, and then we get a journal entry from the perspective of Ness, the protagonist of Earthbound. Day 1. Cappy's with me. Mario tried throwing Cappy to save himself from Kirby, but since it hit me, it didn't make any effect, and Mario got killed. I'm also with Villager, Marth, and Sheik right now. I'll write their statuses in the next page. We get an info card with Ness wearing Cappy. There's a little note that says Cappy possessed my cap after the incident. We'll try looking for Master or Crazy Hand. Maybe they will be able to help with the chaos. This illustration of Ness is very serious. While Cappy looks worried, Ness also has his PSI power and his baseball at his side. We get a couple stats on the side in regards to Ness, including infection, health, sanity, fear, and hunger. The numbers for each category and the fact that they are white, which is what indicates little to no damage in Smash, means that everything is perfectly fine with Ness, at least for now. Sheik, or Zelda we should probably say, is also very much fine stats-wise, though she does appear very serious in her photo. Her note says this: when she heard the chaos, she helped us fight Kirby, procuring to take her distance from the infected. She's been completely silent since then. She seems a little bit stressed. For Villager, he's just his plain old self. He was wandering around the Coliseum when the incident happened. He was the one who amputated Marth's hand. We take the shelter in his universe for now. There are some very important details to highlight, but I'll get to those later. Now Marth is missing his hand, which we know Villager cut off. Ness labels that he wasn't infected, or at least not anymore. His stats are also slightly off from the previous characters, but it doesn't seem like anything to worry about. His note says, he was the most injured since he was the only hand-to-hand fighter there. One of Kirby's tentacles stung him in the hand, so Villager amputated it to prevent anything. We get to a paragraph by Ness. A virus? Mario and I noticed Kirby was acting weird before. He looked weirdly smiley but worried. Mario tried reaching out to him, but Kirby wasn't himself anymore. The method of infection is by stinging with tentacles. We know Kirby is very powerful. That thing is around. We must be careful. I'll keep this diary entry updated. We get one last sentence. This isn't fair. Why is this happening? The chapter ends with an image of the infected Kirby, creepily smiling with Mario's hand in his mouth. Oh wow, gore of my comfort character. By the first chapter, the author already made an excellent setup. Also, a lot of the comments are saying if Sonic gets infected, then they are cooked. They aren't wrong there, but imagine if someone like Bayonetta, Shulk, or even Sephiroth got infected. So there's two pieces of irony here. One thing is that Mario, number 1 on the Smash roster and the most iconic character in gaming, is the first to die. And to anyone who has a basic understanding of anything, Kirby is probably the strongest character in not only Nintendo's franchises, but in video games as a whole. Having him as the first enemy really puts into perspective as to how serious this threat is. We're only at the start, so we'll keep going. Chapter 2 is split into 2 posts, but we'll mix it in together. We get to day 2 of Ness's notes. We've decided to find the hands and Kirby so he won't cause any more chaos. We'll try going to his universe to see if anyone can help. We get to a page where Ness begins to discuss the symptoms of the infection. With the help of Cappy, I've managed to compile some information that might help us fight this virus, or at least detect it for now. I found out Kirby had something weird going on before. I've noticed his abnormal behavior. This has 3 phases as far as we know. In Kirby's first phase, he seems completely fine. Completely unaffected by the virus yet infected. Has a small sting, presumably made by another infected tentacle. We still don't know where he got infected. Now for phase 2, his stats begin to change and he appears uncomfortable. With the symptoms, Ness lists them off. It starts about a day after the sting. Dull eyes, completely conscious, still feeling pain from the wound, smiles involuntarily, looks worried and scared. Here's when we noticed Kirby was acting strange. Phase 3 has a Kirby slowly falling apart. Empty eyes, blind, and progressively empty body. Violent, but they won't try to hunt. Very hungry. Remnants of personality, distorted voice, formation of tentacles they used to presumably spread the virus. When it got to a presumed phase 4, Kirby's stats are completely out of control, with his body deformed. I suspect there might be another phase after the third one. I have no evidence for it, but I hope to find more if we manage to find Kirby. Inhale. Take a deep breath. Do you like the cool spring breeze? Go deep inside the green forest and look at the stars falling down. Don't worry, there is no one left in there, nor the village, nor anywhere. The only thing with you is the violent gusts pulling your last taste of safety away. Stop holding onto the ground. His hunger is torturing him, and his appetite is growing bigger. You really wish this was all a bad dream, don't you? We get back to Ness's notes, with it simply saying, "We've found Kirby." The artist includes 2 drawings to finish off the chapter. Kirby is extremely massive in comparison to Ness, and is covered full of tentacles. The next drawing has Ness holding onto a spear with the infected Kirby in it, and it's captioned, "Dreamland is gone." If you're confused as to why Dreamworld is in a ball, in Subspace Emissary, the story mode for Brawl, all the worlds the Nintendo characters are from were in balls. It's honestly very vague as to what happened in this chapter, but Chapter 3 gives us more clues as to what went on. Chapter 3 fast forwards 5 days ahead to day 7. To start off, both Ness and Cappy are a lot happier. Ness's notes reads out like this. We managed to escape Dreamland yesterday. We are trying to recover ourselves a bit in Villager's home. Before we continue to look for the hands, Cappy already looks better, and even though I got hurt, it's no big deal. Ness's notes continue on the next page, saying, since Marth was still weak for the blood lost, he didn't come with us. The villager looks weirdly calm about the situation. I guess he doesn't even know what's happening. He comes from a Pacific universe after all. We get some cute drawings visualizing Villager and Marth in the aftermath. To continue on with the notes, Sheik is still worried about something. She wanted to go by herself, but we convinced her to stay since it might be better to go in a group. An image of Sheik watching through a doorway adds on to this segment. Our last page of Ness's notes helps us better understand what happened in Chapter 2 and the 5 days in between now and then. Dreamland got destroyed by Kirby, but he seems to be self-contained there at least for now. We couldn't help anyone evacuate to the World of Light, since you can only enter it by having an invitation by the hands. We couldn't find neither the King or Meta Knight. All the universe's portals got dispersed around the map. Whatever infected Kirby must also be responsible for that. We'll try finding survivors as well as the hands. The artist includes a drawing of the 4 main characters over the campaign map. We get a bonus log date from someone who may be the doctor version of our favorite plumber. Log date, day 7. Location, base, 23:03 PM. My investigation about the infected will finally begin. Rob finally brought me the infected it caught yesterday. I've managed to contain it by tying him up. The infected is still on the 2nd stage of infection, so still conscious and non-violent. Yet I can't trust he will stay like that. I'll research him to find a cure. I have to make sure she is safe. I'll start examining the specimen right now. I have enough caffeine in my veins to work all night. I want this weird feeling I have to end and be able to return home. Reporting more advances when I find them. Now we're at Chapter 4, sticking to Dr. Mario's logs rather than Ness's notes. Log date, day 8, location base, 9:34 AM. He has 2 stings and according to the opening of the bite, You can see that it is recent from the last few hours, I would say. He is already starting phase 2 of the infection, so I'm guessing the more stings, the faster the infection. He told me that he was in a forest unaware of the infection when something strange attacked him. Rob found him unconscious and without his Pikmin, although in his hallucinations, he believes they are still with him. Name, Olimar. Stings, head and abdomen. Health, 30%. Olimar is doing fine now. The pills have managed to stop the infection, at least temporarily, although I'm not sure how long the pills will be able to stop the infection. Olimar seems collaborative. His help may represent a big advance on the cure. We get a picture of Olimar sticking his thumbs up, alongside some visuals of the pills. The author includes the log from the previous chapter in here, so we'll just skip over that, but it's notable that Dr. Mario is going backwards. Log date, day 6, location base, 2:03 PM. I found Rob wandering around the forest, so I took him with me. I explained the whole situation to him, and he was willing to help me research for a cure. He is a robot, so he's almost certainly immune to the virus. He will definitely be of great help in investigating the virus. Log date, day 2, location Dreamland. I decided to go to Dreamland to see if Kirby had anything to do with this discomfort. When I arrived, I found the beast he had become hidden. I overheard Ness and the others say that Mario had died. I still don't know why I'm still alive, but I'm afraid that if I return to the Mushroom Kingdom, I might die, since the original Mario doesn't exist anymore. I'll start investigating this to make sure Peach is safe. Log date, day 1, location Lumio City, World of Light, 8:31 PM. I was trying to sleep until I started having these hallucinations like flashbacks of something I haven't even experienced. Since that strange feeling I had this afternoon, I have been feeling weird, and I have this abnormal feeling that something very bad is happening. Now we're at the stats for these characters so far. Dr. Mario, not infected. He's afraid of entering back to his universe since the original Mario is dead. Smash's universe works different than the others. His efforts have been in vain so far. His infection and health are fine for now, but his sanity is at 50%, his fear is at 25%, and his hunger is at 65%. Rob, immune. Rob was injured while defending himself from an infected character before meeting the doctor. After that, he served as Dr. Mario's assistant since he can go outside without the risk of being infected. For Rob, his health is down to 75%, but has a perfect sanity and fear stat. He also has an energy level of 85%. We get one more log. Log date, day 8, location base, 4:34 PM. I thought the pills might slow down the infection a little more, but it seems like this thing is stronger. Olimar is entering phase 3. This chapter ends with Olimar laying down. Pikmin heads are starting to pop out of him, and his glass helmet is starting to break. Next up is a side story. The author titled it Anthology, a Game of Watching. Have you ever wondered what those shadows are that you see out of the corner of your eyes? It's easy to confuse him for trees or dark spots. But plants don't whisper. They aren't alive. He isn't alive either. Just below the text, we see Luigi and Yoshi wandering through a forest. Ring, you know how darkness gives a feeling of solitude? Ring, it is fun how fast leaves and shadows turn into demons at night. Luigi and Yoshi look in terror to follow up. It says, Ring, you know you aren't alone though. He was following you. He was just waiting for you to find him. We end this part off with an infected Mr. Game & Watch. Transforming Game & Watch from a 2D flat goofball to an SCP Trevor Henderson type of character is beyond genius. If you are watching this at night, I'm sorry. Chapter 5 continues on with the Dr. Mario logs. Dr. Mario log, day 8, location base, 6:38 PM. Olimar began to mutate, so I made Rob kill him as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, Rob was unable to kill him peacefully as he had entered an extremely aggressive state. I managed to take a few blood samples, but I did not find any pathogen or indication of the virus. I assume that this disease has a non-specific origin. We get an image of Olimar with a creepily infected smile. Rob's shot wound can be seen as well as a sensor bar over Olimar's eyes. It's still day 8, but 5 minutes have passed. Inside Olimar's body, Rob found his infected Pikmin devouring him from the inside. Because of them, his infection was faster. I sent Rob to kill them too. He got injured, but he managed to kill them before he reached me, so it doesn't matter. With this, I realized that the infection is not the only strange thing that is happening. The author added visuals of the infected Pikmin. Another 5 minutes have passed. Since all this chaos began, the rules of the game have changed. Since Master and Crazy Hand have disappeared, there has been no more combat, plus we are trapped in some kind of permanent stamina mode, in which if we die, we have no chance to revive. Blood isn't something we see here often, even with Bayonetta or the Vampire Slayers present. But since the infection, even characters from peaceful universes like Olimar have developed blood. I still don't understand what's happening or how. We see a vial of blood, which we can assume is Olimar's. Dr. Mario, log date, day 9. Location, base, 6:02 PM. I could barely sleep. I'm still horribly stressed and suffering from these horrible nightmares. I woke up early today to continue analyzing Olimar's body. 2 new people arrived at the base seeking shelter, Mewtwo and the sword fighter me. I put them in confinement. They said that an infected person chased them, so even though I didn't have any marks of any wound, I won't risk letting them pass. I have to be safe. I don't think anyone else can find a cure, and I don't trust them. We get a couple info cards for both me Sword Fighter and Mewtwo from the perspective of Dr. Mario. Me Sword Fighter, not infected. He was looking for a place to hide since he lost the other me when he found the base. He said he lost his sword, so he is unarmed. I still think he is sorta suspicious. I can't trust him. Infection, 0. Health, 90%. Sanity, 80.9%. Fear, 50%. Hunger, 25%. Mewtwo, not infected. He told me he was getting chased by an infected Pokemon trainer when he found the Mii and then the base. He also added that the trainer was not chasing the Mii, only him. It makes the infection more confusing, but I still can't trust him. Infection, 0%. Health, 90%. Sanity, 95%. Fear, 25%. Hunger, 10%. The author includes another black static screen, but there is a hidden message. This is your fault. He's gonna catch you all. Afterwards, we get a visual of Pokemon Trainer and his Squirtle and Charizard infected. The fact they hid Charizard is making me really curious as to what he looks like. Another message shows up in the following screen, repeatedly saying, he doesn't know. We end off back to Ness's notes. Ness notes, day 9. After crossing the jungle, we found a base with some lights on. We will try to get inside to see if there are any more survivors. Everyone came this time, although Marth is still weak. If you pay close enough attention to the background, you can see the tongue of Yoshi covered in blood and wrapped around a tree. The author says to pay attention to the fonts in a comment. Ness's text is in the standard Earthbound font, while Dr. Mario's is in a cleaner Arial font. Now this next post is another anthology titled Splatted in Red. The author puts this in the caption, "You must have been running for so long, it's exhausting. This game used to be so colorful, didn't it? It was the idea. Why did you have to make that silly mistake? Why did you have to ruin this fun little world? Are you even aware of what you did? Do you think that idea was worth it? I guess sometimes you just want to drown all your problems, but no amount of water will dissolve what you signed for. I'll just play the animation." The author has been giving us more and more graphic imagery, and I'm loving it. What I don't love is Snake dying this early. The video ends with the Smash roster displaying everyone who's appeared in the story so far. If they are normal, that means nothing has happened to them. If they are purple, it means they are infected. Gray with a red X means they are dead, while gray with no red X means they are injured. Now for Olimar, he doesn't really fit any of these categories. Also, Luigi has seemed to survive the encounter with Game & Watch. Back to our main cast of Dr. Mario, Rob, Mewtwo, and me Sword Fighter, we get an animation. The author instead puts the log in the caption. Day 10, base. I left the 2 guests in the lobby trapped. I locked them there so they cannot escape. I sent Rob to search for another specimen since I can't just do much with Olimar's corpse. I hope whoever Rob brings me will be more helpful. I'm so tired of this. To look at this from another perspective, Mewtwo is one of the strongest Pokemon ever, while Pichu, by many, is considered one of the weakest. It's left ambiguous as to whether or not Mewtwo is dead or infected. The author has one unrelated post, which is a stand celebrating El Salvador's independence, September 15th, which is also the anniversary date for Undertale. Just a little fun animation with no connection to the series, I think. Now we have reached the most recent part of the story, which was uploaded on Halloween. The caption reads, "Outside the castle walls. We want everyone to be safe. Please follow the instructions to make sure everyone survives." Will they? There is another anthology involving the Mushroom Kingdom. We have a mix of analog horror and animation.
Greetings, inhabitants of the Mushroom Kingdom. Here's your princess to inform you of an imminent crisis nearby. Please remain calm and listen to the following instructions to keep you and your friends safe. There is a dangerous virus affecting certain inhabitants, specifically those who have invitations to Super Smash Bros. As far as we know, anyone who does not have an invitation is immune to the virus, but not to the attack of the infected. We do not know Mario's whereabouts, so we invite everyone to stay in the safety of their homes, and if you are in one of the following areas, please evacuate to a safer zone. You could be in danger. Western regions of the kingdom. Rainbow Curse. Mushroom Kingdom 2. Golden Plains. Grassy Planetoid. Mario Circuit. And New Donk City Hall. As your princess, I really hope everyone is safe during these times of crisis. We've been in worse situations before, so I ask everyone...
Right now we're at the end, but there's a lot of potential as to who we could see included. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate has a roster of 70 plus characters including DLC, but we've barely even scratched the surface. Like I mentioned before, there are characters like Shulk, Sonic, Sora, and Bayonetta who have godlike capabilities. Could these characters stop the infection, or are they also victims? There is so much that can be done with this series, and I really appreciate the change in mediums, whether it be journal entries, animation segments, and analog horror warning screens. It really helps build up the stakes and makes us learn more about this alternate world and the characters in it. One of my favorite things about Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and just crossovers in general, is seeing characters that usually wouldn't interact with each other, well, interact with each other. The artist has done an extremely great job in giving these characters very cutesy designs that fit their character well, while giving the infected characters a lot more hellish, Lovecraftian designs. We're only at the start, and I'm very much looking forward as to what this artist does next. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like, comment down any thoughts or topics I should cover, and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Take care of yourselves, and as usual, please have yourselves a damn good one.